it's that time of year where no doubt you'll be watching countless YouTubers making videos in deer parks in London and places such as that. But on this channel, or at least I like to be a little bit different. So I was sitting in my garden just the other evening. We're in the middle of the rutting season right now. And yeah, I could hear loads of red deer off in the distance. I kind of strongly suspect whereabouts they are. One of the issues may be that they potentially could be on private land, which I won't be able to access. But as I've not been out for a long walk in quite a while, I thought it'd be good to do, I think it's about a 7 or 8 mile walk that's quite local to me. And yeah, perhaps I could potentially see some red deer. And yeah, it's a really quiet area. I don't think I've ever bumped into anyone walking around here, so there should be quite an abundance of wildlife. I've already spotted some roe deers, rabbits, and I think a couple of squirrels, but yeah, didn't get any shots because my wife was on the phone to me. I did actually grab a shot of a tree. It was the first tree that I've actually seen with autumn colours. We're a little bit, probably about 2-3 weeks away from nice autumn colours appearing. So yeah, it was cool to get a shot of that. Today, we're back on the Panasonic Lumix G9ii with the 100-400. I've mounted an SSD, so I've got really good video recording options and then a little microphone to record any sound. I've also got my camouflage suit, although I am currently dressed in camouflage. The camouflage suit will really help if I do potentially spot the red deer. It's not a windy day today. They're unlikely to smell me. So if I can do anything to kind of help myself, camouflage will definitely do that. With regards to gear, I mean, already this 100-400 has been a little bit annoying. The stiffness of the zoom. When you've been using the big white or the 150-400 for a couple of months, you go back to using this and yeah, you notice the difference straight away. Although this is a lot lighter and easier to sort of carry, yeah, it's just a lot of compromises. And even in this sort of cloudy light that we're in today, it's yeah, the ISOs are going to be a lot higher as well, because at 800mm or 400mm we're at f6.3 versus f4.5. But I do have the OM 150-600 coming to test soon, and I'll also be testing the 50-200 2.8, that new zoom lens they've just released. Anyway, I'm getting quite close to where I suspect the red deer could be. I need to keep the noise down, start getting prepared, and yeah, we'll see what we can see today. It's only been about 10 minutes and I've already had a few encounters with muntjac deer. So yeah, not the red deer that I was hoping for, but yeah, I think a few of the shots were a bit soft, but I think there's some okay shots in there, and certainly, it's good to get shots even if they're just for practice. I'm pretty sure I heard the red deer off to my right, and if that is the case, they're quite a distance away. I'm just going to have to carry on the path and yeah, see what I can see. So I'm not even off the concrete part of this trail, and yeah, seen jays, even managed to get a quick video clip of a squirrel up in that tree. Sadly, the problem is that in Norfolk, and particularly in places so quiet, they're not used to people, and of course they're absolutely petrified. Ah, there's some geese. This little part of the woods has an abundance of squirrels. They are all around me. So one of them saw me, instantly scarpered. Stayed still, was patient. He come back out. I managed to get a few shots, quite high ISO because it's pretty dark in there. So I had to go down to about 1/125th of a second. So there might be a bit of motion blur in some of the shots. But I did get a video clip of him eating an acorn, which is pretty cool. There are acorns everywhere, which is a little bit bad for me because when you step on them, they make a lot of noise. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to get amazing shots. It's slightly frustrating that I can't go off the beaten path, but at the end of the day, it's not my land. I don't have permission to go on there. Right, I know I'm tired, but I really need to switch on and start sparking, because a buzzard literally came out of the woods, and realistically what I should have done is grabbed a video clip. I was too busy faffing about seeing if it would come close enough to get photo shots, and to be fair, it's against a miserable sky, a J. So yeah, I really should have known better and just gone for video, and what's happened is I've ended up with neither. Annoying. I just got some shots and video clip of a male roe deer, a buck, still walking on the path just towards the embankment, and yeah, I managed to get the start of the autumn colours behind him. Obviously they're not quite as good as they'll be in a few weeks time, but that was pretty awesome. And then we've got, basically, I don't want to give away the location, but there's a sugar factory basically there's a sugar factory behind him. I was able to zoom out and actually capture the roe deer with the sugar factory in the background. So yeah, kind of shows, I kind of like the shot, because you know, it kind of nature meets man, or man meets nature. So yeah, quite an interesting shot, and you know, going in tight, it looks very natural in the wild. Zooming out, basically, yeah, you've got a completely different perspective. So yeah, just looking on the back of the camera, looking at some of the shots already today. Might be high ISO, but it just goes to show, you know, I've been using expensive gear recently. If you know how to use the gear you've got, you really don't need it. Don't tell my wife that. At the end of the day, I think, you know, something like this is going to be accessible to most people, and you really do get your money's worth, and the results you can get with, you know, a setup like this, it's just incredible. And it's only because I've been using it for 7 years, I kind of just want, you know, the next level, and just the handling and the feel of this, yeah, it's a little bit annoying. Don't know how many steps I've done today, 4,785, and I wouldn't even say we're not even a quarter of the way yet, I'd say. So let's go. I'm here on the embankment now. I've got the River Wizzy behind me, and yeah, basically this embankment's all part of a public footpath, and already, just because of the vlogging, 2 roe deer just ran off just ahead of me. My only concern now is if I spin you around, I'm effectively walking on an embankment for a decent length of time. That means I'm going to be elevated high up and visible to pretty much every animal that wants to see me, but you never know, I could get lucky. I'm hoping for a fox. I think red deer are off the photographic menu, so to speak, today. But yeah, definitely I'll take a red fox, and I'll take a red fox because in all my years of doing wildlife photography, I am still to capture a decent image of a red fox. Still. I'll keep the noise down now, because wild foxes don't like the sound of Joe's voice. Well, as if to prove my point, I had a cormorant just perched up in a tree, pointed the lens at him to try and get some video, and he flew off. So yeah, there hasn't been a great deal. I've managed to get a quick clip of a kestrel that was hovering in the distance. He's some distance away now, I can see him hovering again. And I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but over in that way, there's like a big mast. That's basically my, well, more or less my end location. My house is probably about 10-15 minutes away from that. Still got a long way to go. Anything could happen. The sun has come out, and it's probably gonna help me out, to be honest, with its direction. So yeah, as long as I get some wildlife subjects, things could be good. and hopefully it doesn't rain. There's none forecast, but it's very cloudy. I just had a little sit down to eat a beef sandwich that I made for myself last night. It's pretty tasty. And I looked to my left as I was eating because I could see sort of a dark shape coming closer and closer to me. And sure enough, it was a female muntjac deer. Now, muntjacs aren't native to the UK. I believe they're from sort of China, Asia sort of area. They're obviously brought over a long time ago, and they've escaped from stately homes and places like that. And yeah, they've done ridiculously well in Norfolk. They are absolutely everywhere. I mean, I like to see them because at the end of the day, I know they're not native, and there's, you know, talk about all the sort of root damage and damage that they do to the ecosystem, but at the end of the day, seeing something doing absolutely thriving, it almost seems like it's made Norfolk its home, and I'm always happy to see them, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, this little female, I started getting closer and closer to it because she really wasn't paying attention to, you know, what she was doing, just feeding on the grass on the embankment. And I got closer and closer, and eventually she turned round, and I was basically in a squatting position filming her. So she came closer and closer and closer until she was at the point where she was that close she couldn't really make out what I was. She investigated for a little bit, and then just looking at the video, you can tell that she eventually realised what I was and then ran away. But yeah, pretty cool experience. So I'm a little bit miffed. I've done 8,800 steps now, just as a rough guide of how long I've been out. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. I'm sure I saw like a big brown wing flap near the top of the reeds. And I just thought, nah, it can't be. I thought, yeah, it can't be a buzzard. Like, if it knew I was about, it would have definitely flown off. So just to sort of appease my mind, I did a bit of Obi-Wan, hello there, which had the effect of making said buzzard that was there take off. But I was expecting it, but I wasn't expecting it. So by the time I had found it in the viewfinder, it was too far away. So yeah, a little bit annoyed. I think he's off on a tree in the distance. That will be my guess, either that or a cormorant. And yeah, annoyingly as well, the river is just behind me, and I'm sure I heard a kingfisher a minute ago, but is now not accessible because of all the reeds. Really enjoyable day. One thing I noticed though is that the 100 to 400, even though it's about 985 grams, it's a lot harder to carry than the 150 to 400 because you just use the tripod as a carrying handle on that lens, and it's just really, really comfy, and I can carry that thing for hours. Where my right arm actually quite hurts because I've been using it by the grip, and then I've been holding it like this just because my arm's starting to hurt using it. So yeah, lighter doesn't always equal more ergonomic or better. So I've just stopped to eat the rest of my sandwich, and I'll be honest, I'm hanging out a little bit because I've actually quit vaping, which has been really quite difficult. I've had the odd puff over the last few days, and yeah, don't judge me, but vaping was my thing. You know, sitting down by the river, I'd do that. If I was going to go sit in the back of the garden, watch a YouTube video, I'd vape. If it's a quiet night shift at work and you're bored, you go vape. You're bored on a vehicle journey, you go vape. So yeah, don't judge me. I'm sure you guys drink at the weekends and eat KFC and all of that stuff that I don't really do. So yeah, I miss my vape. But part of the deal was with my wife that, you know, if I quit vaping, particularly for the health benefits, now with my biological father dying and potentially leaving me with a hereditary condition, you know, not smoking and vaping is kind of essential to that. Look at this view. Look at this. Just watching these two swans. The parents have headed
further up the stream. Oh, the sun's just come out as well. So you can imagine right now in this, look, the sun's literally just come out. Beautiful scenario. Right now, a vape would be absolutely amazing. So, smoking since I was 18 and vaping for a good length of that time. It's a long time to be doing something. So, to just let that go, pretty much cold turkey, is a challenge.
Look at the scenery. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Oh, wow. That's a stoat. Oh, that's so frustrating. So there was, I assume it was a weasel because it was pretty small. It was only about 10 meters away from me and I was doing this vlogging. So naturally I went to put down this because I haven't got it set up with a tripod, it's just handheld. Brought out the camera, by the time I'd done that, he'd moved off and then gone into the reeds. So yeah, another phone call today. I always love getting these when I'm out in nature. I'm effectively done the entire loop now. I'm on 11,000 steps. I've probably got about another 4,000 or 5,000 till I get home. But yeah, I think effectively this will be the end of the video. Yes, definitely different than probably most of the other kind of rutting season videos you're likely to see on YouTube. At the end of the day, it's not really slagging anyone off, but the way I see it is I'm physically capable, 41 years of age, almost 42, but yeah, 41. I'm physically able to track down, look for, and photograph red deer out in the wild, and that's the way I should do it. It's not judging anyone, it's just the way I believe things should be done. I do wildlife photography for the thrill, for the wildlife. I don't do it for competitions, I don't even enter them, and I don't do it for glory and fame and all that side of things. So yeah, it makes sense for me to do it my way, and I like to stay wild. But yeah, not bad today. Definitely better than I thought it was gonna be, disregarding the fact that I didn't see any red deer. After not seeing those, I thought the day could go really badly, but it turns out I think I've probably got some pretty decent shots. And it also goes to show that you definitely don't need super duper expensive, ridiculous gear at the end of the day. This lens, you could pick this up used for practically nothing, brand new, about £1,000. That is some money, I understand that, but for what you're getting, it's huge. So yes, from the wilds of West Norfolk, I will definitely see you on the next one. Take care.